is Sheila Launcher. His favorite website is Hassle-Free Cashflow Investing.com.
So you just learned about leverage ratio, and I've got the leverage ratios written right here. 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 5-to-1, and 20-to-1 leverage. And so we're going to talk about how to use this leverage ratio with the arbitrage formula that we just talked about to calculate your return on investment, right? So here's how it works. 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 5-to-1, 1-to-1. The first thing we're going to do in this formula is subtract. We're going to subtract the amount of capital from the amount invested, and we're going to come up with a number. So here we've got 0, here we have 1, here we have 4, here we have 19. You got that? So this is the amount invested. Here's the amount of property, the leverage ratio that we are working with. This is paid cash. This is 50% down. This is 20% down. This is 5% down. This is the parts of financing on the property. So this is the ratio of financing on the property. There's 0 financing on the property here. And there's 1 part financing and 1 part your money there. So this is the financing number. And this is just a math formula that's going to help you figure out ROI. And when you know this, you're going to be able to do math, real estate math in your head that no one else knows how to do. This is the financing, parts financing, and your part property. Okay? You're going to take this and multiply it by your interest rate spread, right? Because we're talking about if you borrowed money at 4 and you invested it at 6, the 6 represents the cap rate on the property. And if you're not sure how to calculate cap rate, there's an entire video series on our website, Hassle-Free-Cashflow-Investing.com, that will help explain how to calculate cap rate. So your spread, borrowed at 4, invested at 6, you're positively arbitraged a 2% spread, right? We're going to put that in here, times 2%, times 2%, times 2%. This is how much money you're making on the bank's money. But there's one more part, right? And that is how much money you're making on your money. So you're making 6% on your money, and you're making an awful lot of money on the bank's money. And what should be painfully obvious right now is that you're going to make more profit on the bank's money than you are on your money. So let's do the math. We're calculating what is the annualized return on investment on your money absent of hassle and time, right? So we're just going to talk about your return on your money and why real estate's so amazing. If you pay cash for a property, you're making a 6% return. That's a lot better than CDs and bonds, but it's not very good. I like to say if you're not getting at least 15% total return on your money, you might as well not be a real estate investor. Let's be honest. Real estate is not hassle-free. You can make it very low hassle, but if you're not getting at least 15% on your money, I'd encourage you to be a private lender, right? So if you're looking at, I could buy a house and make 6%, or I can go make a note and be a lender and make 10%. It's less hassle being a lender, and it's simpler, and you make a better yield. So our target for hassle-free cash flow investors is if you're not making at least 15% total return, don't confuse total return from cash flow, because you're not always going to make 15% cash flow. That's very, potentially unrealistic. But if you're not making at least 15% total return, just say pass, I'm looking at the next deal. And it's very likely if you're using the strategies of hassle-free cash flow investing, you can make substantially, outrageously, embarrassingly high returns without compromising risk. So here's how. Paid cash, right? Here we go. You 2 parts, are you making 1 part leverage, the bank's money, times 2% is 2, plus 6, 8% return, right? With 50% down in this scenario, you're making an 8% return. In this scenario, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 6 is 14% return. This is where most people buy property. Is they say, I'm going to put a 20% down payment, I'm going to make a 2% spread on the bank's money, and make 6% return on my money, because the part that you paid is you equal the cap rate, and then you're making a 14% return. Not bad, that's close enough to 15 that you might go with it if there's other mitigating circumstances. But look at this. If you could get 20-to-1 leverage, which is 5% down, 19 times 2 is 38. 38. Is that right, David? 38 plus 6 equals 44% ROI. It's the same house. The house didn't change. The house is the 6 cap rate. The only thing that changed is the amount of financing that we used, and the spread stayed the same, right? So even if, let's look at this, even if you had to pay a big premium to get this financing here, let's say all of these scenarios were 4% interest rate and here it's 5% interest rate, so that you're only making a 1% spread, still you have 19 plus 6 is 25, right? And hopefully a light bulb went on, right? Because a lot of people will look and they'll say, but David, if I put more money down, I get a lower interest rate. And then I'll say, well, look at your leverage ratio. What's your arbitrage spread? What's the cap rate? And let's do the formula, right? So we've got the leverage, and this is the amount of bank financing. So this is the financing times the spread, all right? Spread plus the cap equals the ROI. And this is a shortcut. And if you get good at this, you're going to be able to do this in your head very quickly, right? Because you're going to think 20% down. That's 5-to-1 leverage. My interest rate is 6. My cap rate is 6. Let's do that math here, right? So we're going to delete the spread here. And so let's say your interest rate is 6 and your cap is 6. Your spread is 0. 0%. 0%. 0%, 0%. And then you start figuring out what the ROIs are, right? And you've got 0 times 0 is 0 plus 6 is 6. 1 times 0 is 0 plus 6, right? 4 times 0 is 0 plus 6. 19 times 0 is 0 plus 6. Uh-oh, David. My ROI stayed the same. What happened to the formula? And you broke the cardinal rule of hassle-free cash flow investing, which is arbitrage spread. We want that 2% arbitrage spread.
Help me go to hassle-freecashflowinvesting.com.